God said to Moses, I will rain bread from above and rain meat. And God, by the open heaven experience or encounter, has to rain meat of birds and also rain bread. And they were warned to go and take as much as you can eat. Don't take over. And because they are not concerned about the message, they are only interested in the benevolence of their private or personal or carnal satisfactions. They don't understand God's message and they go after only the food. And this heaven was closed. Why was it closed? Because they could not maintain. They could not go by the rule and the ordinances of the message. They went to pack more than for a day. Bible says those who pack little does not lack. Those who pass much does not have over. So the Jews mismanaged. The Jew abused the open heaven. Listen to me. It's not today that God opened heaven to his people. But most time they can't keep it open forever. But in this move that God is starting, God wants to keep on opening the heaven. He wants to keep on that the heaven open towards you. That anytime you turn to God, there is a rain. Ezekiel said, because the heaven is open, he said it's not closed, there shall be showers. There shall be showers of blessings. That's why I am trying to lay the emphasis on how to keep the heaven of God opening upon your life forever. There shall be showers of blessings in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night, in the evening. Heaven is open unto you. It's not the charisma that matters. It is the message that should be of our concern. How to preserve, how to keep the heaven open. Now, in the heaven opening, as we have been studying through our series, there are three manifestations that is common to this open heaven. From the first, second, and third series, there are three things, occurrence, or manifesting that are of the same, occurrence. The first thing is that in this open heaven, when the heaven is open, in this experience, there are manifestation of audible voice. Mark chapter 1, verse 10-11. There are manifestation of audible voice. When the heaven is open, what manifests or we experience is an audible voice that speaks to the people that heaven are open to us. And the voice is saying one thing. In Matthew, Mark, even in the Acts of Apostles, it's saying one thing about a Savior that has been sent to the world to be a message. Jesus Christ was a messenger and the message. I repeat, Jesus was a messenger and the message. So in the open heaven, the ear of God's people are open to hear an audible voice. And in Mark 1, 10, 11, that voice spoke. He spoke in Matthew to the apostle. He spoke to Cornelius. He spoke to Saul. It's a common experience in the open heaven. I pray that you hear the voice of God. I say you will hear the voice of God. 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 What gave John the Baptist the conviction about the Savior is the voice he heard in the open heaven. What gave Saul, Paul the Apostle, the confidence to stand in the face is the voice he heard in the open heaven. What gave Peter the boldness to withstand the Sanhedrins was the voice he heard in the open heaven. May your ears be open. May you hear the voice of God. As this heaven is open, you will hear the voice of God. It is a great blessing to hear God speak. To hear God speak. A new voice is common. Number two, in this open heaven, the second occurrence that is common is seeing trances. That is in the book of Acts of the Apostles, chapter 10, from verse 9. Seeing trances. When the heaven is open, God releases trances. Listen to me and sit right. Let me clear some things to you tonight. Now, in the 1 Corinthians 12, there was a doctrine or teaching about the gift of the Spirit. Are you there? 3. Now, or 12 rather. There are some things there which are divided into three in 4 classes. 1 Corinthians 12 from verse 8. Now, there are division of the gift in their category of manifestations. He said, for to one is given by the Spirit, the word of wisdom. By the one is given by the word of knowledge, the same Spirit. He said, to another is given prophecy. Now, the word of wisdom, are you here tonight? The word of wisdom, the word of knowledge, prophecy are the gifts of utterances, the gifts of spiritual, sight. Word of wisdom, word of knowledge, and prophecy are a prophetic gifts by which you see into the spiritual realm, either for a particular person or for a church assembly or for a nation or for yourself. May you receive this gift now. Hey, receive this gift now. As I'm saying tonight, the gifts are on the sharing. It depends on your faith. These are the gifts that which they are utterances, they are sights. Now, in these 3 dimensions of spiritual gifts, is where you found other gifts operating, like trance, like vision, like dreams, like audible voice, like inner impulse. Now, these are like the prophetic operations. These are in the fold of these 3 dimensions. Now, in the open heaven, what was going on was that the people experience trances, seeing trances. Trances are not dreams. Trances are not prophecies. But you can be inspired to speak by passing through trances. Trance are an operation of the spiritual where you enter into the sight to see in a second. Can you receive this tonight? Are you ready for it tonight? Trance are somebody's here tonight receiving the gift of trance.